Evening, everybody. Looks like, yep, coming through clearly. Awesome. It is Thursday, for those of us that are not keeping track of that. Thursday, March 26th. And we're calling this to order at 8:04 p.m. for the AmpGuard of Alaska Board of Directors meeting. And so there is an agenda that I will copy and paste into the chat real quick for you all. That did not come through as cleanly as I had hoped, but we'll walk through it. So, forgive me for the first item, because you'll see why when we get to the second item, why the first one's going to be a little iffy. But has everybody had a chance? Oh, shoot. You sent me the message, but I didn't forward it to everybody. All right. Jason, do you have that link handy for the previous meeting? Nope, I got it. We'll race to it. All right, this is being sent to the CoC chat if you guys just want to pull it open. I don't remember us previously linking this to everybody, but this should be the meeting minutes from the previous BoD meeting. Could I get a quick sound off from everybody saying that they see it, and effectively by seeing it accept that there were meeting minutes and that we're moving forward?
I've seen it and I accept it.
Awesome.
I see it and accept it.
Cool.
I see it and accept it.
Awesome, thank you. And Jason, since you wrote it, have you seen this?
I've wrote them and accepted it.
You accept it, awesome. Looks good. All right, next item on the agenda is the one that actually makes this more official. So according to the admin manual, the BoD, the board of directors, runs an all thing in this scenario to appoint a pro tem CEO or king. That's the position that I'm speaking from at this moment. So I'm actually not 100% official until we get through this next item. Have you guys had a chance to see those election results? And Jason, do you have the capability real easily to post that screenshot that you did to like the spectators lounge chat? If not, I can try to get there. We can race. Nice, you beat me. Cool. Nope, not your king. All right. Do you want to just read those off for the group, since I'm not really? Just I would say just the totals for the candidates would be sufficient.
You just want to hear this again, don't you?
This is the first time we've ever had this happen in our organization, so try to set some level of formality to it. That's part of the reason I've actually been quiet for the last few days.
Here, hold on just a moment.
And here I thought you were just being nice.
Maybe a little bit of that too. I've also been super swamped at work. Apparently it's really hard for people to work from home without their tech support.
Okay, so for the votes, total votes, Rain had 10 votes.
What?
Zuriel had 23 votes. Nolarian had 29 votes. Corin had 13 votes. And there were 3 no confident.
All right, so moving forward for the BoD members, you guys accept these results and move forward, effectively assigning me to be the CEO for the remainder of this term.
I make a motion to accept these results and get it over with.
I second that.
Cool, seconded, and just do a sound off. Lupin Moon.
Yes.
Asteroids.
Yes.
KPM. Secretary.
Yes.
I can't vote yet. Ravenstone.
Yes.
And Frozen Coast.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Suckers.
I know, right?
Right. Okay. Unanimous. Whatever. I'll write that in later. All vote yes. There we go. All right. Next point of business is adding me to the Denali Federal Credit Union account. All of them for all the accounts. In theory, that would be myself and Rolo or Jason Cabanis as the two primary people on the account. A little continuity there and backup, as it were. Is there any discussion to be had? Anybody want to jump in real quick on that? No. Okay, so I'll just make a motion to add me to all the accounts, and we'll go. Somebody want to second that for formality?
I'll second it.
Awesome. So voting again. Lupin Moon,
Yes.
Astro Winds,
Yes.
KPM.
Yes.
I'm on the list this time. Yes. Ravenstone,
Yes.
Frozen Coast.
Just be the oddball, no.
All yes except for Weirdo. Yep, I'm leaving it like that.
Cool.
Except for. Do you really want to vote no? I can record that.
I'll vote yes.
Okay, all yes. All right, next point of business. We're just knocking them out. Taxes. Do you want to say something, Jason, or do you want me to just give a quick one-liner?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll do the one-liner. They are a work in progress. They're being worked on. We don't have anything to show yet, but it has not been forgotten, and it is not, but it's not done yet. So as soon as we have more info, we'll share that with at the next meeting, and hopefully we'll see progress here pretty quickly. All right, next item, unless you want to add something.
I want to add something.
Okay.
They're normally due April 15th, but now they're due July 15th, just an FYI. I'm not going to try to take that long on them, but we do have some time.
Cool. Sooner the better, though. Any other comments, questions? I do have the chat open, both YouTube chat and the Spectators Lounge. So if anybody has anything in there. There's some suggestions for getting an accountant. I don't disagree, but we might also have one kind of in the role already.
Oh, I'm not muted. Sorry.
NPO paperwork. I have no idea. I've had the job for 2 minutes. Oh, that stuff. Yeah, there does sort of, we will need to push that through. Yep, and actually we have copies embedded within the server from the last time that I did it. So we will push that through and make that be a thing. Terrible excuse. Oh, tough crowd. All right, next item on the agenda was DLC. So in theory, we were going to be discussing and potentially voting on the BoD's vote to move forward with integrating them. I am kind of throwing a halt. Yeah, we kicked you off last time, or they kicked you off last time, Mara. So that was in the previous meeting minutes. Oh, there's people walking by, my window's open, sorry. So that happened already. Yeah, she's out. But DLC's integration, I'm putting a little stop in there, and we're working on the idea of having a bid or request package for bringing them in. I'm working with the CoC right now on what we're going to ask of them when they, are requesting formally to join us. And so if you're listening, be prepared to be contacted by me or somebody here soon, hopefully, with what we're looking for that. And then we'll have some information to actually share and put out when we both vote as the BoD and put it out to the whole thing to have integrated. So it's I don't know if it's even worth sharing where we're at right now. Let me see if I've got any more likes on that. I put out a little list of questions, but I wanted the CoC to have a chance to look at it. It's only been like an hour or so since I posted that. So I don't think we're there yet. I think it'd be unfair for me to start sharing that yet. So that was DLC's integration, and that's why you're not seeing that vote happen yet, because I wanted to inject some process into this and kind of formalize it. I have nothing else on the agenda for the BoD meeting. Does anybody else have anything they want to bring up? There's questions about our business license. Do you want to handle that one, Rollo?
Corin already answered.
Oh, did he?
handled.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yes. Yeah, I'm following now. That's all the other questions. Any BoD members have anything they want to bring up? Nope, then I will officially make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Cool. Lupin Moon.
Yes. Sorry about
No, you're good. Astral Winds.
Yes.
KPM.
Yes.
I say yes. Ravenstone.
Yes.
Frozen Coast.
Yep.
Cool. So we are adjourned as of 8:15 p.m. Nice and quick for the BoD meeting. Thanks, guys. Switching gears, swapping files. We got Astral Winds here. We got Ravenstone here. We got Lupin Moon, Frozen Coast. Has Chi managed to join us yet? I don't see him in the list. Are my eyes glazing over? Am I missing him?
He's not in here.
He's not in here. Okay. So we'll bump him off. The guy suddenly can't use a computer. I don't understand. All right. And we've got our ambassador. Our Kingdom Regent is also hanging out, and our KPM. And I'm also going to add in Ellie is here. And did Drake? Oh, he's still here. Cool. So we got a full house. All right. Item number 1 on the CoC agenda. Creating business license. All 3 are up to date. State Matsu and Palmer. Okay. Thank you, Corin. That's awesome. Okay. Sorry. I'm reading chats and I had to swap a window. So first item on the agenda, let's paste everything so you guys can actually see what I'm looking at. Kind of. This is going to look horrible, probably. All right. First item on the agenda is the COVID-19 emergency update. So without just reading the line that I just copied and pasted, basically there was a statewide decree from the governor basically saying no more than 10 folks, which applies to just about every group of ours, should be gathering. And they also, so that decree is until rescinded, and it includes schools not being in session until May 1st was the last date that I saw. So basically we are on a sit and wait kind of mode as far as our in-person activities, and no, let's not try to circumvent the rules or tell people they can or cannot come play. Let's be consistent and let's just everybody behave. This is a emergency and unique situation that I don't think AmpGuard has really seen. So let's set a good example and behave ourselves and be good citizens and contributors to our communities. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add? I know Stephanie's kind of at the front of lines for a lot of stuff, but don't want to necessarily put her on the spot.
Oh, so you're putting me on the spot. And
There she
breaking
is.
into breaking into 10-person time slots does not work because you still can't come within 6 feet of each other. So, but basically what I know is a high level rundown, just real quick. Of course, we're up to 69 confirmed cases in Alaska. That's 10 more today. The big jump yesterday was 17. And there's been over 2,000 people tested. There's a statewide mandate if you fly into Alaska. So if you're listening from the lower 48 and you're coming to Alaska, mandatory 14-day quarantine. You have to sign a paperwork before you leave the airport, and it's a $25,000 fine if you break quarantine. The other highlights is, as Nalarian said, no school till May 1st. And Anchorage is in a hunker down state right now. So unless you have to leave and go somewhere, they telling you to stay home unless you're
absolutely necessary, right?
Yep, absolutely necessary. So that means like if you have to run to the store, you could, but They don't
I'm on quarantine.
I keep losing. Sorry, my thumb keeps going off my push to talk. But yeah, they're recommending, of course, stay home. And then if you have to go to the store, they don't want you to bring your bags in anymore. And they waive the 10-cent fee. And those are about the highlights that I think I have. I don't see any questions popping up. So, all right, done, out.
Cool. Next item on the agenda. And we now have a new challenge. We need to be done by 9, so we don't let Mara get any credits. So, ambassador report from Astriana. You want to take it away? You're not forcibly muted, are you? I've unchecked that horrible mute button. You'll then have to unmute yourself separately.
Technology. Yep, not muted.
Yeah, Puppet's not muted. Gwen still is. I have work tomorrow. I have a meeting first thing tomorrow morning.
Likewise.
I have like 4 meetings all morning. And then about another 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, right, Deli? Same. I'm having to talk to people on the East Coast. All right, barring Gwen getting her mic running, I will just start talking about this stuff because I'm somewhat familiar with what's happening there, and she can either fight her mic or start typing furiously. She can choose her pain, to quote Discovery. So the first item was that there is a discussion happening within the Circle of Monarchs regarding it's proposed right now. Let me pull it up. It's something that I think Shelby actually just shared within the last day or so about a proposal to change the way that they moderate the main AmpGuard group. The big public one with 9,000 members or something absurd. And so a lot of people are getting kind of focused. Oh, it looks like you're not muted. Oh, pausing, waiting, maybe. And then you're muted again. Anyways, it's a really big, long thing that's posted, so you can find it on the Kingdom page. If not, feel free to send me a message and I can direct you to where you want to be looking for this one. I personally, a couple people have asked me about this already, and I started to make some comments on the big national group where there were 2 discussion threads happening about it. And I think that it's less about what people are focusing on, which is the trying to tell people new rules about how to discuss things. And I think it's about marketing and where our discussion platform is going to reside. The guy that's trying to make the proposal is making the argument that there's 9,000 members on that group right now, and when you do generic searches for AmpGuard in like Google and stuff like that, it shows up as one of the most prominent, if not the most prominent, options in those search results. And so he wants to convert that to be our recruitment platform effectively, because it's already hitting those points. And so I think his changes are focused around changing that group to be the marketing engine for that. You think you got it? Okay. Still shows muted to me. There you go.
Is that better?
Yes, you got it. You got it. Go.
Okay, so the basic idea is that they want to switch between two different groups, both of them being open to the public to use, but one of them being the discussion board and the other one being the platform that we use to advertise. And because we have so many people already on the main AmpGuard page, about 9,000 people, they want to keep that page as the face of AmpGuard and then convert the other page to a discussion board, or keep this one as a discussion board and then switch the other one, which we actually have 2 AmpGuard websites, switch the other one to the face of AmpGuard. But how to do that is kind of the trick, because marketing is not necessarily easy on Facebook. And so the discussion that's happening on the main board is what are our options? And there was a vote brought forward, but that has been held now so that we can have a serious discussion about it and figure out what we want to do. And then people can go back to their groups and discuss it first, and then maybe come up with a different plan. So nothing is set in stone right now as to how we want to proceed with this, or if anybody actually wants to proceed with it. Right now, it's just an idea, and people are trying to get some feedback on what they would like. It's not a call to silence anybody, which I saw a bunch of posts as I was reading through it today, that people are like, oh, they're trying to silence the people talking. No, it's just that we don't have a good platform to advertise AmpGuard. And so they want to keep the 2 separate. AmpGuard advertising and AmpGuard discussion board, because a lot of times we do get into some hard-hitting topics on our discussion group, which is great, and we should always encourage lots of hard topics. But I don't think that's necessarily, well, in my personal opinion, I don't think that's necessarily where we want to send new players to find out about AmpGuard, because that's not necessarily always the positive thing that we want to share with people. And that's kind of the idea that Denny, who sort of orchestrated this whole concept about switching it over, and he's not the first one either. From the discussion, it sounds like a lot of kingdoms have been discussing this, and many have changed over in their own way to doing it. I know AstroWinds did. We have our display board that we share out with people, and then we have our discussion group, which people join. Nobody's ever not allowed to join the discussion board. Anybody can join. I mean, unless you're a jerk, then Puppet will kick you out. But it's the same concept with the face of AmpGuard. What do we want that to look like? And if you guys have great suggestions on what you would like AmpGuard to look like, please feel free to get on that AmpGuard discussion board and post your ideas and post your things that you think might help make it work. Or if you think the whole idea should be kiboshed, jump on there and say that too. All your thoughts are valid on that. Any questions?
Looks good. All right. You want to hit the next one? The kingdom bids.
Oh, yeah. So
That's weird. As soon as somebody joined, it silenced you.
it says that Deli had a question on there. I think the messenger's previous drama is where the silencing uproar came from. ID seems solid. Okay, thank you. Yeah, the knight putting it forward is a bit controversial, but the idea is solid. Thank you, Boot. Don't be distracted by the chime. I can't help it. I have ADHD. It's real hard to focus when there's lots of beeping going on, but I will try. So on the next thing that is the next thing on the agenda for ambassador stuff is we're discussing changing the rules for becoming a kingdom. And basically the idea is that the AI BoD brought it to the Circle of Monarchs and is asking for input. And what they're asking for is to change the total number of unique sign-ins to 120 and changing the parks that need to be over 40 to 2, or it used to be 30 something, and now they're changing it to 40, and 2 parks need to be over 40 in order to qualify for kingdom. Also, you cannot be within 250 miles of another kingdom in order to start a new kingdom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think there was some concern about applying that to previous or to existing kingdoms, such as ourselves. But I don't think those are immediate concerns to have right now.
From the
It cuts you out again.
The discussion we had with the XCOM is that all of the kingdoms, like in previous times, will be grandfathered in. And so they won't be held to that same standard. And any group that wants to bid for kingdom in the next 2 years can choose either the new standard or the old standard, so they can phase it in. That way it's not a hard, fast rule for everybody.
Now, one thing I asked for on the internal side of things was I asked them to basically show us the source of where they came up with the numbers and where they were doing that, because those averages for actual regular meetings is not something that's easily, gotten at for all the kingdoms across, on the orc for everybody. So I just want to see where they're coming up with those numbers.
Yeah, that was brought up, and I believe that they said that all the kingdom prime ministers should be able to pull it off the orc for their kingdom. And so I believe the AIBOD pulled those from the kingdoms across Amtgard for that. And so we can pull our kingdom one and take a look at it, but I don't think that those rules are going to apply to us, so I'm not sure that we need to concern ourselves too much with it. It's for people pushing for kingdom. And I think part of it, personally, I feel like that comes from a place where we have all these kingdoms now, where 20 years ago we didn't have hardly as many, and now they're sort of pushing up against each other, and people are sort of poaching groups, or their groups become principalities, and those principalities end up taking a big chunk of the kingdom away. So it's kind of an idea of, well, this is the main way that you can maintain a kingdom, and having to raise those standards a little bit so that we're not sort of pushing ourselves into overly kingdom status.
All right, any other immediate commentary?
Boot, that's a really good point. She said not all, and there are kingdoms that have crown loads that are less than even our smallest park. You're absolutely right, and that's something that got brought up on the COM as well, and it's a discussion we're having as to whether we want to start holding our existing kingdoms to that standard as well, or to a standard, at least a minimum, because as they grow their kingdoms and then principalities break off, they lose those numbers. So should we penalize the kingdom that grew a principality? There's a lot of great questions in there.
Yeah, Burning Man's about to get real salty. All right. Anything else for the ambassador report?
No, not at this time. For those who are wondering, there's no word yet on investigation that I can share. As soon as I have something, I'll let everybody know what I can about that. But as of right now, we are still under investigation, and we are waiting to hear back from the AIBOD what the next step is. And as soon as that happens, then folks will be let known what is going on.
Alrighty, sounds good. Thank you so much for doing that work, and as king, please continue to do so. don't think you get to run away.
Well, you're in charge now, so I'm out. Peace.
Nope. All right. Next item on the agenda, the CoC override for, yes. So as those of Lupin Moon are aware, I have, as of, 20 minutes ago, vacated the position of Regional Prime Minister for Lupin Moon. Now, the admin manual states at the next regular meeting, there will be a all-thing vote to confirm the pro tem appointment done by the Kingdom Prime Minister. That was effectively, could potentially be seen as an oversight when we migrated towards online all things. Plus, given the current situation scenario, I think this is something that's worth addressing and doing in an online format more immediately than waiting until we can, meet in person again and have a regular meeting. So I'd like to propose to the CoC that we override the component of at next regular meeting and allow the regional monarch, Abram, to run a regional all thing to confirm the appointment of Corin as the Prime Minister for Lupin Moon. Is there anybody have any discussion, concerns, anything they want to bring up before we just jump straight to a vote?
Yeah, a question for you.
No. Okay, Bubba.
I must have missed it. Or fucking reading comments. I must have missed it, but doesn't the Kingdom Prime Minister appoint the regional monarch?
They appoint the regional prime minister. They appoint, but that appointment has to be confirmed by an all thing, and that's the part where I'm saying, and that all thing happens at the next regular meeting. So there's an all thing that has to happen to confirm that appointment. So basically, the Kingdom Prime Minister doesn't exert too much power and stick us with somebody we really can't stand, in that region.
Oh, okay. You know.
Yeah. All right, let's go to a vote. Stop me. Astro wins. Yay or nay for overriding and allowing this to be an all thing done via online means?
A.
Cool. I hate to hold this up, but
Go.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Being a prime minister, wouldn't this actually
Who's
be a
talking?
board of Rosedeath? Being a prime minister, wouldn't this actually? Well, no, I guess we would just be voting on the decision of voting on it or how it's voted on.
Yes.
But as a board of director, we actually have to agree to assign whoever's voted to it. So never mind. I backed up and mentally got through it.
No, and that last point actually is incorrect as well, because the board of directors is not involved with this appointment process.
No, but we have to appoint them to the bank.
Absolutely. Once they're appointed as the prime minister, then we would do a thing on the BoD to get them access to the bank accounts. Yes.
Yeah, I was working through it in my own head, so I'm sorry about holding up the vote.
Gotcha. You're 1 week ahead of us. All right. So Astrowin said yes. Ravenstone. Poke Stephanie.
Yeah, I was coming. Yes.
Yes. All right. Lupin Moon, Abram.
Yes.
Victor.
Yes.
Cool. And I'll say yes. So we have
Is
a
that better?
unanimous all yes to override. Now, oh, it's on the report. It's the third from the last. So yes, we'll get to that, to the person that's asking the question. Hopefully the answer is in context. All right.
Yeah, I'm working on that, Dilly.
So the next thing on the agenda, which doesn't necessarily need to be done immediately, but I think it's something that we should think about, and I want to throw out there so you guys can comment back to me, sometime in the super near future. But the idea is bringing this this line that we're overriding right now to an all thing to bring it to consistency with all the other things that we can do via an all thing. So we would remove the idea of the at next regular meeting and just put in some language in there that's like, you see the assignment and within 7 days an all thing is completed, yada yada, and we do that. So if you guys have concerns about that or have strong feelings about it, please reach out to either your monarchs or myself, and we'll discuss those and collect all that feedback. But otherwise, my plan is going to be to throw that to an all thing at some point here so that we can get that edited and tuned up. All right, next item. Oh, this one's fun. Okay, so I would like to propose, and I think my intention is to do this via the CoC. And hopefully nobody screams bloody murder. I feel like given the specific event and circumstances that we would be, that this is a good thing to do from the CoC, and I'll explain why. So first off, the idea is to excuse the absences for all officers during which their regular park meetings for their home region are canceled due to the COVID-19 crisis. With a special note that attendance to respective council meetings is still required and expected. So the idea here is that as long as Ravenstone is not having meetings, people that are that their home region is in Ravenstone, they aren't required to somehow find or collect their regular meeting tick boxes so that they can stay in office, as long as they're still doing their respective council meetings and doing all the other things that wouldn't get them evicted from office. And the reason I want to do this as a CoC is because this is an emergency, this is a temporary exemption, and this is a very special circumstance, and I have a lot of other all thing items that are going to be going through And so I want to reduce the unnecessary workload of sending everything through All Things. So with all those notes, I don't think you need to excuse them when their park days are canceled. Okay, that's somewhat true, except for the element is that, say Homer suddenly, for whatever weird circumstance, or I'm just picking on Homer because they aren't here to defend themselves, starts having park meetings. Kingdom officers don't have an exemption and would be expected to effectively travel to Homer, which, given the circumstances, would be a very bad choice to do, and they're expected to go over there to meet their attendance requirements. That's our current operational understanding of how things are going. So that's why I want to just give this blanket. Yeah, so there's a comment there that Homer already held a meeting when everyone else had to cancel. And so I want to just basically give a blanket coverage of everything. And in a lot of ways, your commentary, Corin, would effectively, for the most part, be true. And so this would be redundant, but I still just want to cover everybody's bases. And I think that it's a fair thing to do for everybody. And that way nobody's looking for, ways to get regular attendance to maintain their office when they're doing lots of other things for us. And we're in a really weird situation. Several people are typing. Holy smokes, we got everybody. Yes, the meeting is it's not being, actually that's untrue. It is being locally recorded to my computer, and it is being streamed live on the YouTube channel, which, just like all the others, so it'll be available for your viewing whenever you'd like, Kraken. Yeah, hi YouTube, yep. And the YouTube version has cool, chill music playing in the background, so you get that the whole time. Yeah, that's a good point, Deli. We will have to come to that. We'll have to figure that out as we get closer to elections. That's a very good point, but I don't think that necessarily applies at this very moment to this current proposal. But definitely something we should watch for. All right, 12 times past 8 days. Yeah, and so Corin's just doubling up on that. Yep, we will totally have to watch for that. All right, CoC members, are you guys comfortable with voting on this and moving forward?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, let's go with Astrowinds first. Would you like to basically go with the plan of excusing absences for all officers from their regular park meetings for their home region, or during which the regular park meetings are canceled for their home region, as long as it's due to the COVID-19 crisis?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we got Astrowinds, Ravenstone.
Yes.
And we would count this as backdated because everything was canceled from COVID-19. So Ravenstone's yes. Lupin Moon, Abram.
Yes.
Frozen Coast.
Yes.
And look, me, yes. So we will say all yes. And so this would excuse all absences related to COVID-19. And you guys are absolutely right. We will have to figure out what the strategy will be for the 12 attendances past 180 days issue, especially as this grows longer and longer. If you have super awesome ideas about how to phrase it and account for it, send them to somebody, a monarch of some kind, whether that be a kingdom one or a regional one, and we will compile and come up with something awesome. All right. Next fun one. All right, so I think this is the first time I've seen this happen, and that's awesome that it's happening. So there was a petition. It achieved the threshold of enough signatures. I think that was 20%, and it was submitted to the CoC. And so the all thing item regarding Shanette Jackson will go live tomorrow morning at, I think I said 6 a.m. It's either 6 or 8 a.m. I kind of waffled on the time, but basically tomorrow morning, an all thing item will appear on the online all thing Facebook group. If you don't know what that is, send me, or really it might be better to send Rolo or Jason Cabanis a message about that. And that all thing item will run until 6 p.m. on Monday, April 6th. And so That happens to also coincide with the day that the petition or that the item actually mentions in regards to, you guys are brutal, in regards to ending the suspension date. Sorry, brain just kind of... It's not good to see so much chat happening at the same time as I'm trying to talk. I need to maybe not have that open. So bad. All right, so anyways, short version. All thing item appears tomorrow morning. It runs until Monday, April 6th. Pay attention, vote, cool things. All right, Hars, you still with us?
As much as I can be.
Awesome. You wanna give us your Regent Council's report?
All right. There's not really a whole lot to report in comparison to what I've reported for my last thing. We had finalized the dates for our mid-range. So far, those are considered unchanged. Some of the events that we were going to be taking part in ended up getting moved due to COVID. BoD is still spearheading both of them, as far as we know. I'm going to be making sort of a compilation to give to whoever is going to be stepping up for the next Kingdom Region position, so that they know that these positions are covered and who's covering them. Other than that, I believe that is really all we had to discuss during then. We also talked a little bit about the banner contest that I touched on, and I'll be going into more detail on that come mid-range time. Other than that, I believe that's pretty much all we discussed.
Awesome, thank you. So I combined this one. Drake and Deli, you guys still with us? Let me make sure you are not server muted. Looks like you should be good.
So I think Drake can't talk right now, so he threw me under the bus to cover him too.
Awesome.
He said everything I said he agrees with 100%, so I'm just gonna move forward here.
Interesting.
We had Ingrid step up for Froco GMR. Which is great. She's did incredible, super active, super positive, messaged me constantly, and then she had 1 or 2 weekends, and then the whole field part of field officer went away. So we had a meeting, but it's really hard to do field officer stuff without a field. So we decided to devote more of our time to bettering like our online resources. So things like the Book of War, which hasn't been drastically changed or updated in the last 4 years or so. Like we have some resources that are kind of old that could probably need some tender loving care, or at least updated to things that have evolved on the field recently. The reef tests are always needing continual improvements, which we're doing, and also there's like a new reef test that we're trying to pump out, hopefully eventually before the end of the reign. And then we also did like things like online classes based off of battle game design and such. I think we had like a 2-hour class that we recorded and threw up, which has been great.
I can't talk. I just wanted to make Deli do all the work.
Oh my goodness. Holy cow.
Drake the Betrayer.
I mean, Deli was also the one who volunteered that we could probably do something when you asked, so.
That's totally true. He was 100% in before you could even blink or even see the message. Do you guys have anything you want to add?
Yeah, so do I get the rules rep thing? Is that confirmed? Yes?
Yeah, for to the extent that that is active.
It's not. I read the whole history of the thing in about an hour on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
When Pockets added me.
You were super excited about it, and I was like, "Oh, dude, your heart's gonna be crushed." Like, it's not what you probably think it is.
Oh, it's exactly what I thought it was. But,
okay. Oh, good.
If I have your blessing, I'm gonna try to revitalize the group and use some social magic to try to get something changed. I already talked to a lot of people to like what they're looking for in a update to the rules, so I think I have a pretty clear idea on what I'm gonna be trying to push there.
Awesome. Humana. Good luck.
Humana.
Elsewise, if anybody has anything they'd like to see from the field officers in this time, have a field to go out and beyond, make sure to let us. I'm kind of at a loss what to do, so, folks, let us know if there's something you want to see.
Drake's bored. Send him messages, guys.
But send them to Rolo, because we change places.
Works for me. All right, speaking of... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Shameless plug. Discord admin stuff. This is just like a little test thing. There's an AmpGuard bot thing, and we're trying to see how we can incorporate that. So maybe that will happen soon. But it's last hour worth of work put into this, so we don't really have anything great pushing out. But maybe in the future, time will tell.
Alrighty. Speaking of
Wait, what does
putting
that thing
Rolo.
do?
Oh, sorry. Abram was asking, what does that thing do?
Well, right now we have it so it can pull spells and rules off of the rulebook. Eventually, it has the potential to link your Discord app or name with an orc thing, and then you'll be able to look up players and see your orc data and how many awards, and it seems like there's some cool functions possible, but yeah.
Alrighty, moving ahead so we can stay under the 1 hour time limit.
My bad.
No, you're good. And throwing Rolo under the bus, is there anything you want to share as far as the PM report goes? He is probably passed out. No, go ahead.
I don't have anything at this time.
Awesome. Short and sweet. All right, I got one more bonus one that wasn't on the list. If anybody has the skill set to do the following, please get in contact with me. I need somebody to effectively migrate and/or export the old message boards, the forums, from the old website. And so if you have the skill set to pull that database and/or convert it to something that's usable for folks, whether that's a compressed PDF file in some way or any sort of thing, and I can get you access to the files and to the interface, but I need somebody with the skill set and time to be able to do that. I somewhat have the skill set, but I am lacking the time to be able to pull it off. So if anybody can do that, please get a hold of me. The month of April is kind of my time frame for it, so I kind of need that done sooner rather than later. And if that happens, yeah, exactly. So Corn and I are in similar boats. Skill sets and time don't necessarily mesh very well. But I want to pull that off because I basically want to... Oh, Valen's got feedback. I'm going to mute you. There we go. Cool. Somebody got to it before me. Awesome. Thank you. I want to migrate the platform that we are hosting our web services on, and I want to be able to do that without fear of losing that data and that info. I want to move it to somewhere where we're spending less money because the current or the existing platform is a little expensive for what they're providing. And I have some plans or ideas of ways that we could improve both the response time on the website and reduce our costs. But I can't do that while trying to maintain that old forums or that old database. And that's why I'm begging somebody, please help.
So just offer up free credits to someone to do it.
We could discuss compensation of those forms.
Start bribing people with credits.
Right. All right. So that's my one bonus one. Yeah, you have to have the skill set first. So that is the requirement, because I don't want you going in there butchering everything. So, but now it's open. You have about 4 minutes to have any questions from the populace or concerns? Anything you guys are asking about that? If you haven't worked with old message board forums, I don't even remember what. Let's see here. I know it says at the bottom. I think it's PHPBB, but forums.akmguard. Let's see if that works.
So just out of curiosity, because I'm not aware of it, but if it's a service we're providing, can't the people we're paying a service for give us a, like a saved document? I
can export the database pretty much instantly. It is in MySQL probably in the back end, and it is PHPBB. But it's what do we do with that afterwards? And I want to discuss with somebody that has a skill set what their plan would be to either reconstitute that somewhere else, somewhere that's either free or ridiculously cheap, or it's send me a zip of the export. Okay. We can talk about this later, Corin, about strategies. I just don't want to lose what we have, but I don't have a lot of time to sink into it. So if it's as quick as me exporting and somebody else can do something awesome with it, that works for me. But it looks like I might be sending Corin a message. So we'll coordinate that later. But if anybody else has time and or wants to come up with another strategy, send me a message. Are there any other questions or issues? Do we currently have a comprehensive overview of how we are handling online meetings? We do not yet. That's something I've actually been poking the CoC on internally. And once I have a more cohesive answer, we will share that with everybody. I mean, I could read off what my ideas were, but I'm making sure this doesn't go over 9 o'clock. Nice try, Mara. I see you. She's trying. Let me scroll. So many posts I made. These poor guys, they didn't even vet me into the position, and I started spamming them with things.
That's all right. I ignored the group.
That's oh well. So most of my things was okay, well, the first item that we actually already took care of was making sure that we didn't have attendance requirements on folks for meetings that they were physically incapable of attending. So we actually cleared that up. That was the obligation for officers to attend meetings that didn't exist. The Ren Fair. Yes, so there's the message. So Karina, so actually anybody that is that is an autocrat for any event, I've already done this to Kraken, but expect that I might reach out to you as we go forward in time, because I'm going to basically be poking you to make sure that you are in touch with the site, facility, or event coordinators for your respective events. So like, Three Barons Fair, talking with those guys. So make sure that you guys have good communication channels ready to go so that if something does change, we are always time traveling. We're always moving forward. Yeah, they're still planning to hold the event, and they're monitoring the situation. And so I want everybody kind of watching for that. But yes, Solstice Wars might be nixed. We'll watch that. The problem that I'm having and what I've been sharing with folks is that once you cancel an event, you can't resuscitate it, so you don't want to cancel too early, but we do want to cancel with enough time that it's reasonable and helpful to folks. You don't want to be canceling
2 minutes.
Solstice Wars, thank you. You don't want to be canceling Solstice Wars, the day before when everybody's already got the time off and is ready to drive, filled up their gas tanks and everything. But at the same time, you don't want to cancel Solstice Wars today, and for whatever reason, everything blows over and they could have held it and it was ridiculous. So yeah, we're going to be watching things. We're going to be communicating. We're going to be trying to tell everybody what we can ahead of time. If you have concerns about particular events that might be missed or overlooked, feel free to send me a message. I might not have info to give to you right away, but we're going to be trying to coordinate a lot of that stuff, which I do find it kind of ironic. It's a huge twist from last year for me, because I remember last year when I was king, I felt like there were so many events in the summer where like there was no weekend off where I didn't feel like I was obligated to be somewhere, and now we're talking about canceling all these events and there isn't even Amtgard to go to anymore. So what a weird twist.
1 minute.
Any other comments? Shut up, Mordred. No. No. Bad. I'm going to have to nix this. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you for coming.
So,
and
really
no.
quick. Hold on. So, when you guys are talking about the summer events, hold on. When you guys are talking about the summer events, right? I understand if you keep interrupting me, it's going to go longer. So, okay, so we're talking about the summer events. We're talking about what we're cutting off from what we aren't. How's it looking for the budget? Do you think it's going to get us above the black, which we were in previously? Yes,
no,
answer.
I think it's going to be a problem.
Yes.
It's going to be a concern moving forward, especially for the money generating issue, events. So it's going to be a real problem going forward for us. So we'll have to really watch that and change our strategy and probably modify our budget. And it is 9:00. Thank you guys. Good night. It is not 9:01.
We have
it says
not
an hour long. There's been no motion to close. I will also second that idea that there's no motion. I actually motion to keep this meeting open until 9:01.
Motion to close.
Seconded. All voted. Bam, done. Thank you. No credits.
Wait, what about our secret meeting?